It's 18:30.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to the 779th meeting of South Delhi Toastmasters Club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Before starting the meeting, there are a few ground rules. Please take 10 seconds to put your mobile phones on silent mode. Please unmute yourself only when it is your chance to speak. Keep a pen and paper handy to note down the key learnings from this meeting. At Toastmasters, we do not talk about sex, religion, and politics. Hence, it is recommended that you do not talk about in an offensive manner. So, I have a challenge for you today. Can you manage, as I am known for multitasking, so can you manage multitasking together? So with one hand, you have to make a triangle, and with the other hand, you have to make a square. You can do it very slowly, and I would request everyone to please switch on their cameras. You have to do it together. You have to do multitasking, Toastmaster Abu. Means do very slowly also. Is anybody able to do it? Can we see?
Yes, I think I did it.
Yes, let's watch Toastmaster Abu.
Abu's one hand is visible only. Okay.
This is
one hand is not moving.
This is Thakur wala hath.
Okay, Toastmaster Sandeep is there.
Sandeep sir, we can't see your other hand.
Yes. Okay. That was great. You can keep practicing. Till then, let's call upon stage our presiding officer, Toastmaster Sonika.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ritika, for always starting the meeting on a high note. And always, you always come up with those interesting exercises. Thank you so much for putting all the efforts into your role. And that makes it, and this activity actually making the USP, working as a USP for the club. Thank you so much for bringing this to your introduction. Thank you. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the South Delhi Toastmasters Club. Almost 1 year back, Toastmaster Paramjot, he's our past president, and Toastmaster Rahul, he's the area director of our club, not our club, our area, came up with an idea of opening a book club to engage people and to embrace the idea, to embrace the reading habits in people. So along with Toastmaster Abu, they took the first step in organizing the first meeting, and after that, all those efforts and all the hard work, now we have crossed that threshold, and today we have already covered more than 50 sessions of the book club, Leaders Are Leaders book club. So what we always need to start with, we need to start with a small step, and we need to then we get that tipping point that takes us to the greater heights. So it always starts with that small step. So this all started with the small step, that tipping point when things start getting changed. And today, as I can see some guests here, so I would like to know from the guest. Let me see the guest. Okay, that what is your tipping point in the life, or the point that changed a lot in your life. I would like to request guest Ritik Garg. So please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. What is that one thing that changed your life?
Okay, so this happened in around 2018. And I had tried a few things after graduation, and I wasn't doing very well. So my dad told me that I need to join the family business, which I didn't really want to do. So I contacted a lot of my friends in order to get an internship somewhere, and I managed to get a very low paying internship in Chandigarh. But then I kept at it, and I managed to get a job at a startup that I currently work at. And I have been loving it so far. I've been working there for almost 2 years. So that was the tipping point in my life. I didn't want to come back to the family business. That was the tipping point for me.
Thank you so much for sharing this, guest Ritik. I hope you will enjoy the meeting. Okay, now I would like to request guest Manveer. Please come on the camera and unmute yourself. Okay, guest Manveer, I guess he's not here. So let me move to guest Sheetal.
Please. Just
Okay, Manveer is here. Yes, Manveer. I guess he is having some connectivity issues. Okay, so I would like to request guest Sheetal to please unmute yourself.
Hi, Swanika.
Hello. So what is that tipping point in your life that made the huge impact in your life?
I guess my breakup was the made a huge impact on me. Like I was in the relationship for 5 years. I was expecting our future, and then I get to know that he's double dating or something like that. And I was planning for like in that year only, I will introduce him to my family, and suddenly the breakup comes up, like in 2019, and felt like I have nothing to do, and I'm not able to live even. I was thinking about suicide and all. Then suddenly I shared all of these things with my brothers, and I came up to work upon myself.
Okay, that is a huge victory of your life, and life is beautiful, believe me. So all the best, guest Sheetal. So as I have many, okay, now guest Manveer is here. So Manveer, I would like to ask you to unmute yourself and tell us that tipping point of your life. But in short, as we are running out of time, thank you. Over to you.
So tipping point of my life was essentially, like what Ritik mentioned. It was about me starting up because I was working with a management consulting firm earlier, and then while like everyone else, there's a phase of burnout as part of everyone's career, and that's when I happened to shift on and start a company which was into an absolutely different sphere, which was F&B services, and that company we really scaled it up. And I think that juncture of really shifting in from not really going ahead with what I didn't want to do and starting up at that particular point in time was a very good choice, I think, in the long run. And that, I believe, was a good tipping point of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thanks for sharing. And I hope you'll have a great time in the meeting today. So as we
Absolutely.
have many guests, but as we are running out of time, so it would not be possible to to ask to all the guests. So I'll definitely pick them up in the next meeting and do join. So now it's the time to call the anchor of the evening, that is Toastmaster of the day, and she is someone who is not so old in our club, but have become a known figure. She is a good speaker. She does good yoga, and she has also conducted a keynote session in Leaders Are Readers Book Club. She's a person, and the last but not the least, that she is the person with the sweetest smile. Today, she has come up with a very interesting theme, tipping point, and let's hear from her more about the theme. So over to you, Toastmaster Arushi, and all the best for your role. The stage is all yours. Please welcome Toastmaster Arushi as Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonika. It's always nice to see your bubbly effervescence at the very onset of the meeting, and it just gives a very good start. It's the tipping point for a very good meeting. So, yeah, so tipping point. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and I welcome you to the 779th meeting of the South Delhi Toastmasters. And today's theme is the tipping point. Now, what is the tipping point? Tipping point is one dramatic moment when everything can change all at once. And there is no better example that I can take other than the current pandemic to explain this better. So in December 29, when the Wuhan Municipal Health Commission in China reported a cluster of cases of pneumonia in Wuhan, you and I were actually planning our upcoming spring vacation. In January 2020, when the WHO published their first disease outbreak news on the new virus, you and I were completely oblivious what was coming our way. Viruses, we know, are contagious, but they move through a population at a leisurely pace until a tipping point is reached, and then they explode into a pandemic. It's taking it out of the whole pandemic situation and taking it at a much lighter note. It could be, any magic moment when an idea or trend or social behavior crosses a threshold and just spreads like wildfire. There are a few trends these days which have had their tipping points, be it Netflix or chill, or the rise of gluten-free products, or the rise of the Adidas Superstar sneakers, to name a few. For me, the defining moment or the tipping point was a trip to Meghalaya. This trip with 20 strangers, their age ranging from 19 to 35, was the tipping point for me. This trip gave me a new perspective about myself. It was very intriguing to know how people perceived me, and I really came close to understanding who I am through other people's eyes. Since then, I have been more outgoing, I'm more adaptable, and I've learned to be more sensitive to others. So this was my tipping point, and it really helped me to become a better version of myself. Moving on to the agenda of the meeting. So today's meeting is divided into 3 sections. The first section is the prepared speech section. We have 4 very talented Toastmasters today who will be delivering their speeches. Their speech titles are very interesting, and I can't wait to hear the content. The next part of the meeting is the table topic session. So the table topic session would be conducted by Toastmaster Shrejita. In this section, the Toastmaster will present us with interesting topics, and guests and fellow Toastmasters can volunteer and participate. The next section would be the general evaluation section. Toastmaster Shameen is the general evaluator for today's meeting. And with her team, she will be leading the evaluation section today. Now, people join Toastmasters to feel more empowered, more motivated, and self-confident. So when they take part in multiple roles in each meeting and prepared speeches, this is really the theme and outline of a Toastmasters Club. It is to encourage and motivate people. I will now be introducing you to the joke master of the day, who is known especially for this. He is the best person to encourage and motivate you and bring a smile on everyone's face with his contagious positivity. Please, with a thunderous applause, welcome Joke Master of the Day, Toastmaster Abu Shadab.
Thank you so much, Arushi. It's so nice, so nice. I wish you all the best. You're doing such an amazing job. People, please show of hands if you have got those messages that if you do not forward these messages to 10 people, bad luck will come to you. Have you got those messages like bad luck will come to you? I used to always make fun of those messages. I used to ignore them, Aditya. But sometimes because now I am COVID, I feel I am COVID because I ignore those messages. So don't ignore any message. The first lesson, okay? The second thing that, my dad, it's very important that in today's time when COVID is there in every house, we have to be humorous and we have to be funny because that will take care of our mental problem. So my dad, who is elderly, he is getting really worked up by all of these COVID news and the death that is happening. So he calls up my sister and he's always talking about COVID that, and he calls up my sister and says that, do you know this particular person died because of COVID? This particular person died because of COVID. This person died because of COVID. He goes ahead with the list. Once that call is over, my dad tells my sister, you take care of yourself, okay? And then on that same day, my sister got her report that she is also COVID positive. And she was like, when dad was going ahead and making a list of all those people, I was getting very scared. So something which is very important is people, although this is there, but we have to really watch out for what we say to people because it's there everywhere. And try, whenever it is a COVID conversation, try to drift it to a different conversation. Okay? Over to you, the TMOD of the day.
Thank you, Abu. That was very relatable, and we didn't find any joke of the internet. So, job well done. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Toastmaster Shami, who's the secretary of South Delhi Toastmasters Club and is playing the role of general evaluator in today's meeting. An amazing writer and a girl with a pleasing personality. The spotlight is all yours, Toastmaster Shami.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arushi. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to you all. And I will be your general evaluator for the day. Though I'm going to do the heavy lifting of evaluating the whole meeting, I cannot take the load all on myself. So I have a very extremely talented tag team with me, which I'll be introducing you now. The first tag team member for today is the timer for today, Toastmaster Sonika. Toastmaster Sonika, over to you.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator. Time is the most valuable thing. Time which is past never comes back. So whenever we invest our time in anything, a person, an activity, or a goal, it is this limitation of time makes that activity, the person, or the goal more important. So it is very important to know the importance of the time that the time limit that is given to each role player in the meeting. So I would, as a timer of the day, I would request everyone to stick on time. So to give the signal of the timing, let me start myself as well. Okay, so to start timing and to signal the timing, I will be using the screens. For the prepared speakers, they are given 5 to 7 minutes. I'll show green card at 5 minutes, yellow card at 6 minutes, and red card at 7 minutes. For the table topic speakers, each speaker is given 1 to 2 minutes. I will be showing green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1.5 minutes, and red card at 2 minutes. And for the speech evaluators and all the evaluators, they are given 2 to 3 minutes, in which I'll show green card at 2 minutes, yellow card at 2.5 minutes, and red card at 3 minutes. For the speakers and evaluators, we have grace period of 30 seconds on both upper and lower hand. And for table topic speakers, we have grace period only on upper hand. That means a table topic speaker has to speak at least for 1 minute to get qualified for the voting. So I'll share my report in the evaluation section when we'll be called by the journal evaluator. So over to you, Toastmaster Shaman. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonika. Now, my second tag team member, the most talented, uh, Toastmaster Abu, as an our counter. Over to you, Toastmaster Abu.
Thank you so much, Shaman. I'm sure people, when we are out for a holiday, like, TM, Toastmaster of the day, Arushi, she spoke about her trip to Meghalaya. What is very important is that journey. But at times when you are out for a journey, and the moment you start your car, you realize petrol is not there. How would you feel? Couldn't you feel irritated? You go a little forward, okay, and then you realize that you have overspeeded. Then there's a cop who presents you a bill. Now all of these things, and then you realize you finally reach a hotel and realize there's no food, there's no rope. It is so irritating. Similarly, people, when we speak, when we use it really takes away that spirit of speaking. So what it is very important is, please be calm and composed. I'll go ahead and let you know the counts of it. And what is important is just go ahead and speak calm and composed. If you are struggling with your thoughts rather than and ums, you can always take a pause. So towards the end, I'll come and I'll let you know how many ums that you have used. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abu. And my third and the last tag team member for today is who will check our language and grammar usage and could become the grammar Nazi for today's meeting. Toastmaster Shivangi, over to you, Toastmaster Shivangi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chaman. I also have a guest with me, my permanent roommate, Mr. Gagan Thakkar. And I will be the grammarian of the day. It is my weakest section in any Toastmasters meeting, but nevertheless, today you have me. So as a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay attention to all the speakers and listening carefully to their usage of the language. And I will take a note of any bad usage of language, as well as any good words or quotes or saying or thoughts. And then my goal is not to become any grammar Nazi or a grammar Gandhi, but just to help you graze through and have a good flow of your English. And then I also want to give you all the idiom of the day as well as the word of the day. So the idiom of the day is top of the heap, which means you are in a higher position than everybody else, usually in terms of power, wealth, or ability. And then the word of the day, which has also been used in New York Times 80 times last year, is empirical, which means derived from experiment and observation rather than just theory. Like a lot of WhatsApp messages are going on without any empirical research on COVID. So I will urge all of you to use the word of the day as well as the idiom of the day. And whenever somebody uses the word of the day, please give the thumbs up. That is also one of the reasons why you can have your screen video on. And then at the end of the day, I will be presenting the report about the meeting. Thank you. Over to you, to our general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shivangi. Thank you all my lovely tag team members. And I will be presenting the entire report at the end of the meeting. All the best to the speakers and all the best to the table topic speakers who are going to nominate themselves. And over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shami, for introducing your role and your teams. Now moving on to the prepared speeches section. And before I call our first speaker, Toastmaster Ritika, I would like to call her evaluator, Toastmaster Mayank, to give a brief objective of her speech. Over to you, Mayank.
Thank you, Madam TMOD. Good evening, everyone. Today, Toastmaster Ritika would be delivering her speech from the project evaluation and feedback. This is the first speech. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to the second speech. The time limit is 5 to 7 minutes. I'll present my evaluation when called upon by the jury. Back to you.
Thank you, Mayank. I asked Toastmaster Ritika what was the tipping point in her life. And she said the lockdown attributable to the pandemic. So before lockdown, she started a new job. But because of the lockdown, she could not continue it and had to start from the very scratch. Her new job was a completely different profile, and the impact of this was that it made her very empowered because she realized that she had a skill set which she never explored ever before. Toastmaster Ritika, with her speech, Toastmaster Ritika, happily single or unmarried, happily single or unmarried Toastmaster Ritika.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arushi. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I just had my birthday 3 days ago, and I survived another birthday in lockdown. You know what happens when you start growing old? You know what happens when you start growing old? Your parents are only concerned about one thing, marriage. And especially when you are a girl. I belong to a Banya family. And in a Banya family, when you turn 24, when a girl turns 24, when a girl turns 24, the time is right to look for a suitable partner. When a girl turns 25, it is the right age for her to get married. When a girl turns 26, everyone creates panic, and relatives keep nagging you with the same question and make you realize that you are getting old and you should get married now, otherwise you won't get a suitable partner. So before 25, you are happily single, but after 25, you are still unmarried. I always thought that I'll have a love marriage, just like the fairy tales we heard in the childhood. A Prince Charming will come on a white horse. The eyes will meet and they fall in love, and then they're happily married after. But hello, this life is not a fairy tale. And I also think that my Prince Charming is instead of coming on a horse, is walking on his feet, and I think he's lost his way. You all must have heard that matches are made in heaven. And there is someone that is just made for you. But my question is, if that someone is just made for me, why is it so hard to find him? Why do I have to look him everywhere just as if it's a treasure hunt? So, as if it's a treasure hunt, looking for a partner is just like looking for a job when you are fresher. You prepare your best resume, you apply at different places, you get shortlisted, you give a lot of interviews, and after that, either the employers reject you or you reject the job. So last year, when I turned 25, I thought that now I have a good job and I'm earning a decent salary, and I should think of getting married. So I downloaded Bumble and also registered myself on jeevansathi.com to find my Prince Charming, of course. So, but then pandemic happened, lockdown happened, we had to stay at home, and I had no job. I was in a dilemma. Now, what should I focus on? Career or relationship? So, but also the lockdown gave me a chance to ponder on myself, and it gave me an opportunity to think about what I want for myself in life. In a video by Gaur Gopal Das, he said, no one teaches a volcano to erupt. No one teaches a tsunami to sway. No one teaches a hurricane to attack, and no one teaches a man or a woman to find a life partner. And natural disasters just happen. So if you don't want that natural disaster to happen, you have to make some efforts. After taking a year's time, I once again registered on jeevansathi.com, that too with a paid membership, and started my search for my Prince Charming once again. Because for whatever you do in life, you have to put in efforts. And for those who all are getting older and getting near the right age to get married, I would like to say, before tasting that delicious Shadi ka laddu, work on yourself. Work on yourself. Find yourself before you find someone for you. Build yourself that much that you don't have to depend on anybody before or after marriage. Remember the advice Shah Rukh Khan gave to Alia Bhatt in the movie Dear Zindagi? Try different chairs, consider different options, and choose the one to whom you relate and you are comfortable with. And then maybe you can eat that Shadi ka laddu. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Arush.
Wow, Ritika, what a topic. I think very relatable to everyone here, not only the females in the house, but all the participants. So I think you grabbed everyone's attention with that topic. Good job. All right, can we have 30 seconds for giving feedback to Toastmaster Ritika? Timer is 30 seconds over. I suppose we can move on. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Cheryl, and I would like to go to her evaluator, Toastmaster Sandeep, to explain the objectives for her speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arushi. Hope I am audible. Thank you. So Toastmasters Cheryl will be delivering from her pathway visionary communication level 1 project research and presenting. The purpose of the project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. Time for the speaker is 5 to 7 minutes, and I'm pretty confident Toastmaster Cheryl will be delivering an empirical performance, and no doubt she'll be on top of the heap. Back to you, Toastmaster Arushi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandeep, for explaining the objectives so well. So I asked Toastmaster Cheryl what was the tipping point in her life. And her tipping point was after college, when she thought that everything was very hard. It was very hard to start afresh, a new phase of life. But she was determined to face all of it, all the challenges that came by. And because of taking everything head on, the impact that this made on her was that she continuously learned from her mistakes and self-improved. Toastmaster Cheryl, the history of games. The history of games. Toastmaster Cheryl, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arushi, for a wonderful introduction. The history of games. We all grew up playing games. Would anyone like here to share experience of a particular game or
mention their favorite games. Anybody?
Basketball.
Anybody would like to share their experience? Okay, so we all might have a story with our family and friends of a particular game. So my favorite game was Ludo and Carrom. I used to play it with my little sister, and I didn't know how to play Carrom. I didn't know how to play Ludo. So we always have that instinct in our childhood. We fight. We fight over stupid things. We throw all the game boards and those little things which we used to play as a character base. So this was my experience growing up playing Carrom and Ludo. So parents think it's a waste of time. Adults consider is it as a pastime. Teens think, whoa, that's an entertainment. Kids just subconsciously play it and just be happy. They just smile, playing. I feel games are a genius invention. Games, what are games made of? Games is somewhat magical in like 5 to 6 words. We don't know we don't know what will be the outcome. We don't know we know the rules, and each and every game the rules changes. There is a certain competition and heat in different games. There is different. So now in future, we are in future right now. So it is basically place and time. It is fiction. It is a chance. It caters to a goal, and it is for personal enjoyment. Basic. So there are some basic facts which I would like to share with you. Some game routines are designed in a manner to define IQ levels these days. Some games are considered as a brain accelerator, which helps us learn faster any activity or skill out there. Fascinating, right? So, the history of games dates to the ancient human past. Games are an integral part of all cultures and one of the oldest forms of social human interaction. Games are formalized expressions of play which allow people to go and think beyond imagination and direct and also act as a direct physical activity in a particular game. Games are as old as written language. How were games fit into our culture back in history? The playing of games is something that is older than culture. Games capture the ideas, worldviews of the cultures, and pass them on to the future generation. Games were important as cultural and social bonding events and teaching tools and markers of social status. So, in the past times, the elites and the kings use this as pastimes. Used these methods for gift exchanges. They became common features of court culture and also historical games were mythical in nature and had ritual religious significance back in time. Games like Satranj or chess, which we call it now, were seen as a way to develop strategic thinking and mental skills, which we which we use it now for in our jobs. So Can you imagine we are in 2021? My start from 1995 until now, it was just like a blink. We are in future. How far we have come from black and white to color, from Pac-Man to PUBG, from tic-tac-toe on a paper to downloading an app and just playing it. Games act as an starting point for complex human activities such as language, law, philosophy, and art. Is game defining our future generations? With the introduction and advancement of AI right now, everything is going to be more personalized in a manner that with every click we will be experiencing or feeling something. So, are any of you scared, or is it the other way around? That we are waiting for something new out there which is going to come and which is going to be out of control. Thank you, everyone.
That was a very good attempt, Cheryl. And now I would ask everybody to give feedback to Cheryl. Please take 30 seconds and provide your valuable feedback to Cheryl. Okay, I think 30 seconds are up. We would now be moving on to our next speaker, and I would like Toastmaster Aditya to explain the speech objective of our next speaker.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Arushi. So this is not a typical speech evaluation. Here, the speaker will be giving her is going to participate in the humorous speech contest for her district. So she's asked me to evaluate her on content and delivery. So I will be evaluating her on those aspects. And the speech title is "For the love of Toastmasters, can someone swipe on my Tinder profile?" And the time is 5 to 7 minutes. And I think she has a few messages for the members. So please go through that, because that will be very important. It will be a part of her speech.